I have nothing left except Spider-Man for a week. Welcome back to the Day Now.
Yeah, I'm something of a podcast for myself.
I'm something of a podcast myself. Welcome back, everyone, to what we're calling They Swing Now?
They swing now.
Anyway, let's roll that intro.
I also like it.
Swing.
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 My back. My back.
Welcome back to They Swing Now, the first ever episode. So as you guys can see, we got some very special guests here today.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Hereth for changing our logo, which you all in the chat can see for our audio listeners. It's basically our normal logo, but we changed They Fly Now to They Swing Now. And then it's a picture of, I can't tell which Spider-Man that is.
It's just a random toy.
Going blasting off.
It's like it's coming out of his butt.
So is that? Are your arms the only place the webbing comes out of? Or?
You get web blockage?
Yeah, you get some web blockage. Is that like your wrist the only thing it comes out of, or?
Yeah, no. Sometimes you shoot a web and it comes out and like. Never
What webs are you shooting?
It's Come on, Malik.
Your silence is the answer.
You don't. Never mind.
Your mom. It was there, all right.
Yeah, it was an
No, it's
open
okay.
opportunity. We had to take it.
I make Hereth's mom's jokes all the time. Only when I see Hereth in the chat.
Yeah, it's a running
Mom.
gag at this point.
Your mom.
You just Chuck will be like, he's like, I need to make a your mom joke. Hereth's in the chat. Easy joke.
I mean, that's
yeah.
legitimately what I think. That's how it happens in my head. I'm like,
That's
this
awesome.
seems like a good place, and Hereth is here. Therefore, it's like a flow chart.
Just one connection to the other.
Mother today.
But yeah, so you guys, real quick, you guys have both been on. Just introduce yourselves. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what's your favorite Spider-Man movie? And we'll go to Choco first.
Yeah. So I'm Choco, Darth Choco. I am Darth Choco on TikTok, on YouTube, and those are the only places you really need to follow me. I do the High Ground podcast every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, as well as Dyad in the Force with my Dyad Element 7 on Saturdays at 5 p.m. There will be no episode this weekend. But,
I would
Christmas.
hope not. I would hope not.
But yeah, that being said, my favorite Spider-Man movie, I mean, I'm sure you actually mean live action, but Into the Spider-Verse is still my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
If we go live action, this one, but I feel like this one cheated. but we'll get into that, you know.
Okay, yeah. I kind of, I'm picking up what you're dropping down.
Mutual respect.
Yeah. And Malik, same thing to you.
hello, thwip, mother truckers. It's me. It's me, the Jedi Smark on TikTok. Just let them know where they can find me, right? I completely forgot what you asked me to
Yeah.
say. All right, yes, you can find me on TikTok at the Jedi Smark, where what my name says. Talk about wrestling, superheroes, comics, Star Wars, and all soon to be Spider-Man.
Hey.
I have a podcast called Exclamation Point. It's a podcast where we talk about all types of raunchy stuff. We're gonna be recording episodes for Christmas. We're gonna call it the Yuletide special.
The Yuletide special.
The Yule log special. I messed it up. Tyler's gonna kill me. But the Yule log special. There we go. and it's gonna drop right on Christmas Day, and you guys are gonna love it. We're gonna talk Christmas and all that stuff. Probably some Spider-Man. We don't know, or maybe next. We'll figure it out. But yeah, my favorite Spider-Man movie. So I love Into the Spider-Verse, but I love Far From Home with a passion. Far From Home is like, to me, just like that scene where he goes, "Come on, Peter Tingle," and just like, bam, 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 like it's just like it's literal art. Like the Mysterio sequence, I'm like, it's literally perfection. Like this, I'm like, yeah, he had the freaking fishbowl. Where in the million years do you think you see the fishbowl? Like it's so Far From Home is just such a gem to me. And again, like I'm gonna have to, like, right now it's my personal favorite, but I'm gonna have to reevaluate that hard after No Way Home.
Yeah, No Way Home's a straight banger. I will say.
It is.
When it comes to,
and then you guys,
sorry.
what?
I was saying, when it comes to Far From Home, so I'm in like a Spider-Man Discord server, and for like the last year, I've been like the only person in that server defending the film. I have an entire video on my YouTube channel where I'm defending Far From Home.
It's
yeah,
so good.
If you look up Hereth Productions on YouTube, you can find a video from a year ago where I defend it.
There's a Spider-Man server? That's interesting. I mean, I'm sure there is, but people don't like it?
Yeah,
That's
people hate it. People hate it with a burning passion.
What are they saying is so bad?
They probably do the standard Iron Boy comments and stuff like that.
Iron Boy Jr., he's too much like Iron Man, the Stark Tech.
I had someone tell me that like Peter wasn't like broke enough. I'm like, Tony found him dumpster diving. How broke do you need him?
The problem is when he's in high school, the brokenness is never as big of an issue because he's having a lot of his basic needs met. So I really think that was a big part of it, but I don't know.
Like, for me, it just seems like they're just upset like he gets like resources in general. I'm like, no, he's still like broke here and there. He's, has a little bit of help here and there. Like he's still, for the most part, a broke kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't call the what Peter's arc is. I'm trying to avoid spoilers because I think some people haven't seen it. But like, I called the arc for Peter in that video. I literally called it word for word what was gonna happen. And that, like, when Far From Home came out, I was like, you guys gotta be patient with this series. You gotta wait for the trilogy to finish out.
Yeah, and that being said, we're getting Spider-Man freshman year, which is probably Marvel's going, here's Uncle Ben, here's Sweatsuit Peter, just leave us alone. Here.
Now, do you think there was an Uncle Ben?
Yes, because he's name dropped in What If.
In Far From Home, if you look at the briefcase, he slams down.
Briefcase, yeah.
Okay, I didn't, because right after the film, my friends are talking, they're like, I don't know if there was a Uncle Ben. Like, that's what they said. I was like, I never thought of that, but okay, so there, I just missed that. In Far From Home or whatever. But shout out to the chat real quick before we get started. We got St. Pat, we got Element 7, Brian with the beard, Brooke, Malik's also in the chat. But thank you guys all for joining. And we'll shout out everyone as they kind of come along. But
all you wonderful, beautiful people.
But we're gonna first start talking about the we're gonna just kind of talk about everything Spider-Man. So if you haven't seen No Way Home, you still got some stuff to listen to just in case you haven't already seen it.
It's coming though, so beware.
But like the meat of the podcast is gonna be
No Way Home.
No Way Home, if we're being honest.
This is like a nice
prime rib.
This is like a nice salad dish to go along with your steak.
La Queen de la Croix.
This is the mouche bouche.
The mouche bouche.
Prepared by Ruglagu. It's all connected.
Speaking of Ruglagu, just for anyone watching, the final episode of Voyage of Destruction will be coming out on Christmas Day.
Hey. Oh yeah, Christmas.
It's our present to you.
Christmas is a Saturday this year, so yeah, it is.
our favorite Night Sister and favorite Jedi are in the chat, so let's go.
Hey, yes.
I should probably have the chat open.
I love
Sorry, I
Tony's-
probably saw the logo.
It's amazing. I had
What is
to
he talking?
I had to throw it together in like 30 minutes. I had no time on that.
It does the job. Alvin says definitely think after No Way Home he's gonna be through the financial plans. Oh no!
We'll hold off on that. We're not there yet. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
You gotta preheat the oven before you put your
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Element's trying to pull it out fast. Like,
Element's
hold on
Element's
there.
like, I want the No Way Home discussion now. We're out here. But moving on to obviously, you don't have to go into detail film by film, but kind of your general thoughts on the Raimi trilogy overall. What you guys were thoughts on now or when it came out? Again, this is just open floor discussion.
Yeah. So with Raimi, so I'm the old man here. But when did the Raimi trilogy start coming out? 2002?
Yeah, around that
something
time.
Like 2002.
Yeah, something like that. And so in 2002, I would have been, I don't know, 16, 15, something like that. So
I was being conceived.
I was a baby.
To Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was on in the background while you were conceived.
Oh my god,
No,
the joke
no.
returned! It has returned! Because I remember
I
Elman
didn't even know
made
this was a running
So,
thing.
Elman made this joke during
Where
Dyad.
does web come out from?
so basically, Carter was swinging around in this daddy sack. But I kind of lost what I was thinking. Anyways, so I've been a massive Spider-Man fan my entire life. If you know me, you know I make Star Wars content. I loved Spider-Man before I loved Star Wars.
Okay.
And the 90s show, I was deep into the comics. And Spider was my guy. And when this came out, this changed the game as far as movies and stuff were concerned, because this is the first time in a good way that they went full camp. It's campy, but it's quality. And I loved every moment of it. Willem Dafoe is terrifying in the first one when he's talking to himself in the mirror, and you're like, oh my god, this guy just his face is terrifying. You know what I mean? People keep saying he should play the Joker, and I'm like, that's too much, man. that's like double Joker. That's his regular face. But the second one specifically, though, was my jam. I loved. I've always been a huge Dr. Octopus fan, but man, the scenes where they're fighting up and down the building, and I always found it weird how Aunt May was ancient. She was so old. She's your aunt? How old were your parents?
Yeah, that's the thing. So your parents were
90?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was this biblical times? What is this?
Your parents 60 when they had you or something?
So yeah, I've always thought Aunt May to be ancient because that's what I was introduced to, and then you stop and think, and you're like, oh god.
Then you saw Ultimate Ant-Man. You're like, damn.
Hey yo.
Hey,
yo.
But yeah, that's my overall feelings on it. I don't want to talk too much on it. What do you think, Malik?
So the Raimi trilogy, again, I love one. Again, it's timeless, it's iconic. Again, as Chaco said, it's camp, but in the best way. You're out, Gobby, out of your mind. Again, so good. Again, so many iconic shots. The upside down kiss is everyone does it, and everyone has to mirror that in some way. Stellar cast. I mean, Kirsten Dunst, Alfred Molina throughout. Spider-Man 3 happened. It happened.
There were some good elements, but there were also some really bad elements.
Bully Maguire.
the bad outweigh the good for me in that one. Again, all that movie needed was Sandman and would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then tease Harry as Hobgoblin, but sadly, we then got Topher Grace as Venom, and
I love Venom so much as a character, and so seeing that movie did hurt me. I can appreciate people that do enjoy it. Also, Sandman is just broken as a villain. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you think about it, Sandman doesn't ever lose. He doesn't lose. You just in the Spider-Man 3, they just made him sad and he went away.
But
Yeah.
but how does he defeat Sandman in the comics? A vacuum cleaner.
What?
Yes, Spider-Man
Care to
defeats
elaborate
Sandman in the
real
comics with a
quick?
vacuum cleaner. He vacuums him up and he traps him in the vacuum cleaner.
Then, oh man, you remember when they took all the grains of sand from Sandman and put them in robots because each one had its own like independent brain? That was a
Yep.
whole.
What?
But,
Comics are wild, bro.
also, I gotta acknowledge the chat. Brooke, respectfully, no.
Respectfully.
He's saying bring back Topher Grace, Eddie Brock, 2022. No, Brooke, no. What's that one? I'm thinking humiliation.
I like being bad. It makes me happy.
I felt my brain try to eat itself when it heard that.
Hello, Parker. Ooh, my spider sense are tingling.
What's the moment? Oh, when he's in the church, I just want one thing, God. I want you to kill Peter Parker. It was just
Sorry,
Eric.
I just like I don't know but also I was ruined by the extreme overacting of the 90s animated Spider-Man where he's like, Shocker!
Yeah!
I will chase you to the ends of the earth! Jeez, he's
You will not escape me. I will chase you everywhere.
I love that scene. I know people make fun of that voice acting line, but it was perfect for me.
Oh, it's so good.
Because let's face it, a fully evil Spider-Man is literally the most terrifying thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I feel like it kind of summarizes their thoughts on the Raimi movies, kind of transitioning into the Mark Webb Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield, that duology. What are you guys' thoughts overall on that before we move into No Way Home?
So I'm gonna be honest. The chat may turn against me. I wasn't the biggest fan of these movies. There were elements of them I liked, but they just did not connect with me. I thought Andrew Garfield was a pretty decent Spider-Man, but I wasn't sold on this Peter Parker. Again, nothing against Andrew Garfield. He's an amazing actor, and I'm so happy he's getting this renaissance and renewal. Everyone's loving him again. But I wasn't with it for a good chunk of the story. It was going. I think the one I had the most problems with was the fact that the briefcase kept becoming a plot point. He would throw against the wall and discover something new that led to something else about his parents. I'm like, huh? Rhino, what's his name? Paul Giamatti. He was more anger than man. He was like,
I am the Rhino.
Yeah, you had Ghost Dennis Leary looking at him disappointed for 2 hours. There were aspects I like about those movies. Like Electro was cool. I loved seeing him walk the kid home. That's cool Spider-Man stuff. But other stuff, I'm just like Goblin.
Oh,
Lizard. The school fight, the lizard was also great. I love the school lizard stuff.
Harry, Peter,
And that was also the best Stan Lee cameo.
Yes, with Peter and Lizard fighting, and Stanley's just listening to music and just putting away books.
So good, so good.
I haven't seen those. I haven't seen The Amazing Spider-Man in forever. It's been a while.
I have to say, it may have just been the timing, but still, Into the Spider-Verse's cameo made me like weep a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
and laugh. But that's my favorite Stan Lee cameo. Also, where was it where briefly Stan Lee was up with the Watchers?
Guardians 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they confirmed he's an informant who goes back and tells them what's going on.
Yeah. But with the Andrew Garfield, this is where I'm coming down on it now. It's the exact opposite of the movie The Dark Knight. Where like The Dark Knight, fantastic movie. Batman had very little to do with that. You know what I mean? Andrew Garfield, a phenomenal Spider-Man. The movies just weren't it for me. Certain things were believable. I did truly believe his relationship with Emma Stone, and the awkward conflict with her dad being a cop and all this stuff was cool, and I think that played well. Didn't like the Lizard as a villain. I love the Lizard villain, but not in the film. And the second one was just so all over the place. I had a hard time, like Malik said, there were so many like threads that just kept popping up. Like all of a sudden, the plot of National Treasure would start, and you're like, "Wait, what?"
Oh,
his dad has a secret train lab. You're like,
yes,
wait, what?
Hidden behind a calculator, but he threw at the wall, and when the coins fell out, and then he took those coins to a train station to split it in the train station, and the train appears, and you see the video of his father confirming that his blood is the reason why he's Spider-Man. It was so weird.
There's a lot of like just things this led to, and you're like, but how? Like, how did the video get into the train? For one thing, why is it what? Why is it a train? Like, it could just be a hidden lab. Why do you still have all the coins? Or is it a finite amount of coins? Would you run out someday and not be able to go to your lab?
Why would you hide it behind a calculator? Were you hoping Peter would throw it against the wall one day and just get angry and just pick up those coins and know exactly what they are?
Another thing.
So I mean, I don't want to just like just spend a lot of time hating, but just really quick things. Harry, I didn't believe they were friends at any point.
Peter, I need your blood now.
that was kind of weird. They had like a whole setup for the Sinister Six already under the thing, and I was like, that's kind of weird. There's a whole scene with Electro, and then all of a sudden he has clothes, but also I don't know. There's
remember
I don't understand why Electro didn't like Spider-Man. I never understood that.
Remember, electricity fixes teeth gaps as well.
It did this dentistry. I can get on board with the like electricity giving him abs and stuff. You know what I mean? That makes sense somehow to me. But like, I still don't understand, because Spider-Man was the only person that was ever nice to him, that ever considered him, that like was friendly to him, and everyone else was a dick. And then he's like, "Oh, a world without Spider-Man," and he was like, "Wait, he was your? Did the eels tell you to do this?" I don't know.
There's three more things I want to bring up before we, first off, it's so dumb, but like it's so dumb I kind of love it. The goblin aids that Norman Osborn had that gave him goblin claws. I thought that was so funny.
Or here's the thing, I love how the entire plot is like on Harry trying to cure this disease, but it didn't kill his father till like what 20 years later, but he's acting like he's gonna die tomorrow, and he's constantly rushing through. I'm like, Harry, you got enough time.
I just love
you're a scientist, you have millions of dollars, you got time, and then Emma Stone's like, "I got a scholarship, I leave tomorrow," and you're like, "Tomorrow?"
I just found it funny that like the disease kills you, but also gives you sick ass claws. That I also did not like that all the Sinister Six all just came from Oscorp. I thought that's kind of lame. Like, I like the fact they're all like different backgrounds. They come together because F this spider dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's just a few weird things, but I did really love. Sounds weird to say, but Gwen Stacy's death scene was actually heart wrenching. Where he's like he's fighting, and then he's like, because that's my whole thing with Spider-Man is he's always juggling. You know what I mean? Like a million things at the same time, and it's really cool to see because he's like holding this thing up and he's trying to save these people and he has to fight this guy, and then there's also another overarching plot that he's trying to do. And in that scene he's like got a foot in the gear and he's trying to pull her up and he's fighting, and that scene hit hard for me personally because I mean, that's one of the most iconic moments in comic history. Hard stop. Comics got darker after Gwen Stacy died because that's the first time any comic book character like had a permanent death like that.
Yeah,
I wanna ask you guys too, like again, this is something I felt was weird with TASM, but like it wasn't really TASM's fault. It's genuinely a thing with Spider-Man in general. I feel like someone brought this up. I heard it on like once. I've been thinking about it. Spider-Man's humor is kind of like difficult to do sometimes because he is just kind of being a dick to people as he's kicking their ass. Like that dude in TASM 1, like, yeah, it's funny that like he's webbing him up, but like this is probably just like a desperate guy. And he's just like mocking him all the time. It makes Spider-Man come off as kind of an asshole, but like it's not, that wasn't TASM's fault, but like how do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, building off what you're saying, in TASM 2, he's like fighting Rhino, making jokes as he's crashing through like civilians, and he's just being like, "Oh, how you doing, Rhino? I'm Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man." It's like, dude, people are dying.
Yeah, I do think that was TASM's fault.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not a thing that happens most of the time. Like he jokes around, and but I feel like it focused on the fact that he jokes around and not the reason why he jokes around.
Okay.
Like you're talking about a guy who like his strength feats are way underrated. Spider-Man is hella strong and he could punch your body off. Like he could punch you in the body and your head will stay there and your body will fall off. And he jokes around to keep himself in a light mood because if he gets too serious, everyone dies. He just punches through people, you know. Also, it keeps everyone else off balance and all this stuff. But like, if you focus too much on like the fact that he jokes around and not why he jokes around, then the jokes become odd and at weird points, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it reminds me of that line in the PS4 game when he catches the mug and he makes a joke. He's like, "I guess you're not voting for Norman to be in office." Like, and he goes, "Sorry, it's just a muscle reflex at this point."
The very end of the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh yes.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, that's not what I was thinking. I was saying the very end of the Superior Spider-Man arc. That's the arc where Dr. Octopus switches bodies with Peter Parker, and Peter Parker is still kind of in his mind, and Dr. Octopus implements all of this really cool and effective stuff to be a more effective Spider-Man, a superior Spider-Man, if you will. But he still misses out on the essence of what Spider-Man is, and will never be the same hero. And so in the end, he relinquishes control and gives it back to Peter.
So good to save Anne-Marie. It's so good.
It's really good. Oh my goodness. But in that moment, and he's fighting Goblin, and Superior Spider-Man doesn't joke around, doesn't play, and he is a huge dick. But he's fighting Goblin, and then he starts joking around, and then Goblin's like, "Holy crap, that's Peter's back." like when he realizes, "Oh, I'm actually fighting the real Spider-Man," he knows that he is screwed, and it's such a cool moment.
Yeah, I didn't read too much into this, the run for Superior Spider-Man, but I remember in the first issue, which was, I think it was issue 700 of the Amazing Spider-Man series, when he's fighting the Sinister Six, and I think it's Scorpion. He punches his jaw off. You're like, oh,
Yeah, just off of his face, and it just goes sailing through the air. And Dr. Octopus is like, "Holy crap! He's been holding. He could have killed all of us at any moment." Oh Jesus!
Yeah, I've not read any Spider-Man comics. I just never.
There's a lot of really cool places to start. Superior is such a unique time in Spider-Man, like the comics, because we have this arc. Like I was one of the people who were like weirded out at first. I'm like, ew, that sounds weird. Like seeing Peter knowing Doc Ock is in there, like try to like get with MJ. I'm like, it makes my brain go. Meh.
In all fairness, I mean, he had those memories and that was creepy, but he didn't try to. Also, there was some really funny scenes, like Black Cat came and Peter's always playful with her, and then Black Cat was like doing a whole sexy playful thing, and he just like nope and punches her out and like calls it down.
Yeah, actually,
she just goes to jail and that's it. And she's just like, that's not how our game goes.
Doesn't he punch out Dagger as well?
I don't recall that.
Who doesn't he punch out in this arc?
But he's not a nice guy.
Yes, Superior is very unique. Also, since we're talking about Superior, I'm gonna say, hey guys, go read Superior Foes of Spider-Man. It's one of my favorite books. You get to see like what the villains are doing, while Spider-Man is a lot more brutal and different, and it's really funny. Actually, there's a man, a bear suit's all like, I don't like Spider-Man no more. He's different. He's changed. And it's like genuinely really funny.
It's the Spider-Man equivalent to Superman versus the Elite Four. The end of that, where he's like, "You want Superman to kill? This is what it looks like," and it was like,
this is scary.
No, do not want.
Do not want. But
how many Spider-Man comics are there? Obviously, there's hundreds.
A lot.
I think Dan Slott stopped writing at like 700, and that was in like 2016. So
I have
some more than that, and that's only the Amazing Spider-Man run.
I have a really unpopular opinion about Dan Slott. A really unpopular opinion. I like the Superior run, but once we got past the Superior run, I did not like his writing. It just felt like I'm like Dan Slott, just move on. You just need to get past Spider-Man comics.
I wasn't a fan of Parker Industries and all that stuff. It felt weird.
Parker Industries.
I read the Zodiac arc and thought this is mid, but then I read the arc when him and Tony are competing for Miles' affection. That was some great shit. I love that arc so much.
Yeah, so Parker Industries basically Ock takes over his body and then realizes like Peter doesn't have a degree. That's weird. And he goes back to school and he gets a degree, and then he starts a company, and that company grows so big that it actually surpasses Stark Industries. And so when finally he gets the body back, Peter is like now running Parker Industries, this enormous company, and he has no idea what he's doing. That part's kind of funny, but overall it wasn't my favorite one.
Sorry, I was trying to Google the author's name because for the run afterwards. I love Nick Spencer's run. I thought that was a great run of Spider-Man.
I've heard a lot of good about Nick Spencer's run. I've heard it's very like comprehensive, as you need to read all of it to like get the full memo. That
first introduction arc is so good, and it does it's like a character study of the Dan Slott arc and like Parker Industries and all of that. Because in the One More Day comic, my biggest problem with Dan Slott is in One More Day they show, hey, Parker Industries is not a good ending for Peter Parker. You don't want this. Because Peter's like in his 40s and depressed, and like he's a billionaire, no one likes him, and like
yeah, because Did he do the Spider Island? When was Spider Island? I'm getting things mixed up.
Was it?
That was like mid 2000s, I believe.
Was it 2012?
Or like, yeah, that or like 2010s.
Okay, so that's way before. Never mind.
2011.
Okay.
There you go.
I was 1 year off.
Let's say. So yeah, you got something else? Got y'all good there, Carter?
Carter's is deep in thigh.
I just don't know what you guys are talking about.
Oh, sorry. Look at that.
No,
yeah.
no, you guys are good. I just
So-
have never been into comics.
Maybe this will be the little impetus to check out some comics here and there.
Yeah.
Maybe. I just, yeah.
You don't have to do them all either. You know.
Oh yeah, no. I'm pretty sure no one's done them all.
I would do like the key runs.
Jesus. Now, like, this all isn't one. Like, how many Peters are there?
Too many.
It's all like Peter Parker, but again, this is all just kind of just happening to him. Like again, it's just a long. These are long stretches of time. Just him dealing with crap after crap.
The only time to actually ask how many Peters are there is when you're talking about Kitty Pryde's dating life. I'm just saying.
I see what you're throwing out, Chaco.
God, she does date 3 Peters, doesn't she? But
she dates Peter Parker. She dates Peter Peter Quill and Peter Rasputin and what's his name face? I want to call him Black Peter. He's not.
I maintain Kitty Pryde as Peter's healthiest and best relationship. Don't at me. Don't care. That is his healthiest relationship.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, I believe. Hey, we gotta cover anything else before we move on.
That was like a little bit like a brief tangent about Spider-Man comics. But since
I had no clue anything
we're like I love how we just casually like just moving Carter to the
side.
side.
I'm trying to rope us back to see if we can get Carter in the conversation.
No,
Wisdom. Peter Wisdom.
There you go.
But
it was killing me.
I'm like looking up all these things as you guys are talking about it, just see what it looks like.
But
gosh.
Anyway, I feel like this is kind of a good segue to be like, we're moving into No Way Home discussion, and there 100% will be spoilers because you cannot talk about this movie without spoilers.
Yeah, so just pause and then come back after you watched it.
Yeah, you should probably edit in like timestamps or something, or like I don't know how it's gonna work live. Pause and come back later. Like I hope you don't hope you skip far enough.
Check back in an hour. And then
do you guys have a spoiler thing that comes
No,
yeah, we have a spoiler.
We have a spoiler.
Oh, yeah,
on the top right corner, it says No Way Home, then spoilers, like in all caps.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And it's an Ray's lightsaber.
If you haven't seen it, go watch.
You've been warned.
You have been warned.
We literally cannot warn you more.
I'm literally burst. I'm so excited to talk about this movie. Like it's literally like just like it's building up. Like
I know.
This movie, man.
Man. Okay, I think we've warned them enough. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Let go.
I feel like the best way to tackle this movie is act by act, like the first act, second act, third act, because they're all so different. I feel like it's for the best way to just kind of handle it. So I would say the first act would end right when the Strange fights end with Peter. Peter and Strange fights ends. I think that's what I would count the end of the first act.
Probably.
I'd say the first act ends like when he after Doc Ock.
Yeah, that's how I was gonna say on the bridge, and he captures Doc Ock.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say there. Yeah. So
probably.
So
I want to know, how did all of your theaters react to Daredevil?
Oh man, we vibrated through your seats.
we got it. So my friend is a huge Daredevil fan. They love Daredevil with a passion. Had no idea he was going to be in this movie. So when I saw the blind cane, the cane, I just grabbed their arm and I just felt them start like shaking and vibrating. And then they saw Charlie Cox's face, and then they just like went. They just lost it,
dude.
Like it was so cool, but like yeah, my theater just went like whoa, oh, like when they saw it, it was just oh my god.
But when they kept building up to, they were like, "We need a lawyer," and they was like, "Yeah." And then the guy interrogating them was like, "Yeah, you should probably get a lawyer." And they keep saying it, and it's like.
Can I just say, I love the pure chaos of the start of the movie of just like Peter trying to juggle his life. Like, are you Spider-Man? Like the moment when he swings MJ onto the roof and goes, I gotta call someone. Oh my god, MJ, I'm so sorry.
Because he's talking in the net. He's like, oh my god, dude.
Oh my god.
I would like to amend my previous statement. So my theater was like 2/3 loves Daredevil already, and 1/3 has no idea who it is.
Yeah.
And so it was like a lot of like, oh my god, and then like, and then there was like a silence, and then there was a bunch of like, who is that? What's going on?
So I saw it twice. The first time I saw it, it was opening night in IMAX, so everyone there was basically like big fans. Yeah, and everyone was like, oh, and then. The second night, it was awkward because me and my friend were freaking out still. Like, just seeing the moment, we were like, oh my god! But then the rest of the theater was just like, what are they doing? We were like, dude, it's Daredevil. Oh.
You're not cultured. Go to Netflix.
I love
in
catches
case
the brick.
you didn't know, when he caught the brick. In case you didn't know, they tossed it in. He's like, how did you do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
Yeah, I'm a really good lawyer.
And now I feel like we're gonna see Happy in She-Hulk, and I think She-Hulk is going to be Happy's lawyer.
So before the movie came out, I was setting myself the expectation because like I didn't want to get myself too. I kept hearing about Charlie Cox's Daredevil. He's returning. He's gonna be in No Way Home. I'm like, I didn't want to believe it. I was like, I don't believe it. I was being like, it's probably gonna be She-Hulk. That's probably what I'm expecting. Before going in the movie, I was trying to play it safe and be like, yeah, it's probably gonna be She-Hulk. Then you tie it into Disney Plus. That's a safe tie-in. And then once I came in, then I was like, oh.
So good.
My sister was sitting next to me. And she was like, who the fuck is that?
Again, it was so unreal seeing him again. Like I remember, like I went to a panel and asked Charlie Cox questions. Someone asked him, "We're gonna see the movie." No, yeah, this was years ago. Back before Defenders it came out. And I think someone asked him like, "Oh, are you gonna be in the Marvel movies?" He said like, "We're not in those conversations. I have no idea. Like I would love to, but like again, no." So it's so cool finally see it come like full circle. I'm like, oh my god, he's actually there. You know?
Yeah, that was. It's just so crazy.
No,
and then
give me my culture, damn it.
the whole like beginning scene, whenever they're like, "Are you Spider-Man's girlfriend?" and she's like, He's like, "Get away from her! Don't touch her!"
It's like Spider-Man assaulted me.
Oh my god!
I was like, "Shut up!" Oh my god, the one dude tries to jump after them.
Oh yeah, because he swings off and he just jumps at him and tries to catch his leg.
Incredible.
Or I love the person that ran up to MJ and he's like, "Back away from MJ!" and she's like, "He hit me! Spider-Man hit me!"
Karens be Karens. That's just, you know.
And then the one dude just dumps paint on him. Like,
oh my, yeah, it's oh my god, yeah. Because again, people think he's a murderer and everything like that. I love the fact that we cut to Aunt May is breaking up with Happy.
Yes.
It's like we're a fling. We're just a fling. He's like,
I was like, no,
okay,
poor
fling.
Happy.
It's okay. Oh, and then they walk in the room. And Peter has his underwear on. And I just noticed, so the second time I watched, I just noticed she went, like, as like walking out, she's like, "Practice safe sex."
Yep, I noticed
Did
that.
you guys catch that?
Yes.
He's like, "Practice. Make sure you practice it." He's
Yeah.
like, no, this has nothing to do with that. I promise.
That was gonna be laugh outside. She
funny.
goes, Peter, are you having sex with MJ? And he's like, no. That killed me in the theater.
So funny. Then whenever they turn the news, they like, look outside. You're like, is that right there? And they're like, oh no. Like, look outside. The helicopters are just surrounding people. It's hilarious.
It's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then everyone gets rejected from MIT, which is sad. It's really sad.
I enjoyed seeing they skipped like a year in that like montage.
I
don't they?
know,
Yeah.
yeah. They have to, because you don't just get your college admissions like in a day.
Yeah.
Mm. They
Which
start
I love
singing.
because
Mm-hmm.
I will always go on record saying I don't like Spider-Man in high school. He's my favorite superhero. I don't like him in high school.
Huh.
Stop putting him in high school.
I
Just stop.
disagree. I mean, I feel like some of Spider-Man's best stories are in high school.
Spectacular Spider-Man.
He's in high school for like 30 issues.
Mhm.
out of like 1,000.
Well, remember, Chaco, I grew up with Ultimate Spider-Man and Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yes, man of
And
culture.
that's what I mean. Is like they keep putting him there and then like putting his adult stories that like have way more weight when he's an adult living on his own, managing like life things.
Mm.
And then they take those and put them there. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I watch because I've watched all of them. You know, I love Spider-Man, but like seeing, you know, in Ultimate Spider-Man, we get Agent Venom and stuff like that. But like reading, about Flash Thompson being inspired by Spider-Man, going to war, serving in Afghanistan, and like being in this crazy mission that went sideways, and he was like, what would Spider-Man do? And he does everything, and he brings his downed colleagues out and loses his legs. They have to amputate his legs from it. And like that stuff has like so much more meat than like I'm a jock in high school and now I'm Spider-Man and I have missiles and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Again, for me, I always enjoyed seeing. Again, I guess for me, like growing up, like being younger, having the norm be Spider-Man is, you know, a kid like me dealing with the jugglings of like pressures of being a kid just kind of like struck a chord with me as well. So like so seeing Spider-Man in high school reminds me of those times. You know, again, like growing up was spectacular. Like, oh my god, I have to do homework. Spider-Man also has to do homework. You know, like Spider-Man doesn't know how to talk to girls. I don't know how to talk to girls in high school. You know, it struck a chord with me. You know.
No, and I'm very aware of that I'm being the dick here because I'm like,
Oh, no, you're not being a dick.
well, because it's also super important to always realize that when I was introduced to the character, that becomes the version of the character that I connected with and think about. When you were introduced to it, we may have been introduced 5, 10, 8 years apart, you know, and so like that's a real thing, and that's why you shouldn't be rude to people when they like new versions of characters.
Yep.
Cough, cough, Star Wars fans.
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Like I find it weird whenever I see Iron Spider have 4 arms. Super weird to me. Iron Spider always had 3 arms.
Oh, it only had 3?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he had 3 in Civil War.
Oh.
Wait,
Or the OG Civil War comic. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
See, this new day and age, like back when I said Civil War, you knew what I was talking about.
I knew what you're talking about. I read the Civil War comic before Civil War
I
came
know,
out.
but like I'm just making a joke.
Yeah, he only ever had 3 arms, and it's weird to see him with 4 because it was Superior Spider-Man that had 4.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
But I feel like this is a good segue into the auto fight, because I love how in the auto fight when they're fighting and Peter's like, he's like, what did you say? And he brings up the 4 arms and Otto's like, we have company.
I mean, we skipped one of my favorite scenes though. That's when he botches the spell. with
Yeah.
Dr. Strange.
oh yeah, we didn't even talk anything about Strange. Holy crap!
I made a TikTok about this. He's just a programmer. Like, it doesn't even have to be a programmer. We could be talking about Excel, where he was just like, okay, okay, so he's just writing like a quick script to like find and replace Spider-Man. Find fields that have both Spider-Man and Peter Parker. And that's all he was just running. And then Spider-Man's like, oh, but like not MJ and Ned. And so he's like, oh, okay, all right. So if column A equals Ned leads, then set value, like he has to like create extra booleans, and you're like this is a live environment. You gotta stop asking me to add goddamn lines, otherwise we will crash this document.
So,
and that's literally all the whole thing was. And it ends with like, okay, just set Peter Parker to no. I don't care.
Yeah. On my second watch through, because remember Peter's like, I said it 5 times. Strange's like, no, you said it 6. I did the count through. Strange is right. He did correct the spell 6 times because he adds that little final note at the end.
He goes Aunt May, MJ, Ned.
He goes
Happy.
I think he goes forget everyone that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Then it's MJ, Ned, Happy, and then obviously May, or I said May, and it's Strange, and then it says, you know what, everyone that heard he knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man, so remembers. I think that was the 6th one.
Oh yeah. When he it's like you just see it coming too, because after he does it like twice, and he's just like staying there, and he's like, well, I guess you can add. Shut up, idiot.
And yeah, I also love the note at the end when they kept running the joke with Sir, and they're like, and he's like,
yeah,
he's like, call me Sir.
But I do like some of the other things that they're tossing in there, like Doctor Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme, which makes sense, because he was blipped away. I had someone comment like, I like how they fixed that one is not more powerful than him because he's not the Sorcerer Supreme. It was like, bro, you're reaching so hard. Like, is that what you were thinking when you watched the movie? Like, I don't know, man. You need to adjust. Like, no, when they open the fridge and we see all the like crazy stuff in the fridge, like that's what he has to eat because he's like he's not right anymore. In the comics, he talks about like just wanting a cheeseburger and stuff. It's funny.
Yeah. Then
So sorry about that.
No, you're good. We're just talking about the Strange script, the spell 6 times, and Kaka just talking about how he's
Strange's refrigerator.
Yes.
I got so excited when I saw his refrigerator. Because one of my favorite aspects from the Doctor Strange comic is the fact that he can't digest food. And like, because he messes with magic too much, he has to eat like otherworldly crap that he hates. And his fridge was full of otherworldly crap that someone probably hate to eat. I'm like, yes, they're bringing it in.
So what? He can't digest food because
he can't digest like pizza and hot dogs, like tasty Earth human food, because of his messing around with magic so much. So he can only eat like things with like 4 eyes and tentacles and like weird otherworldly mold, because that's the only thing his body can digest now.
Huh.
And I love that so. It's such a dumb thing, but well, not dumb. It's a really messed up thing. He literally goes, "What I wouldn't give to taste cheese again." He's like, "I'm stuck with this."
Oh man! So Aiden talks Star Wars. Said you didn't think of calling before I cast a spell that brainwashed the entire world.
I felt Peter Zockrid's like I didn't know you could do that. That the entire time when he's changing the spell, I just kept going. I just kept saying aloud, "Shut up, Peter! Shut up, Peter! Shut up, Peter!"
I love the meme from the trailer when it's like, Sherry should have just been like, "Peter, you can retell them after I reset the spell." I love that meme.
There's so many like little things. I almost feel bad, but like and I know we're not on the end, but like all of this was truly his fault. Like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you could say, "Oh, Strange wasn't being an adult, about this," but you're like, "No, no, his life was like straight ruined. Like he was being a pal."
Yeah, because he even said
Oh.
so long. He's already been through enough. Let's help him out.
Also, I loved to see the fandom menace. I love to see J. Jonah Jameson. His first post is him in his room with a great big green screen behind him, right? And then the montage lasts that year, and he has like a whole studio and crews. Like
It's literally
that's how it works. That's how it happens.
he's literally Alex Jones, like selling supplements and everything. I'm like, that is genius. Like, you know what that means, right? In the Marvel universe, we have video compilations of like J. Jonah Jameson owns the libs. J. Jonah Jameson confronts intellectual dumbass in
Absolutely.
streets.
No.
Like, those exist now in that universe.
Dude, when the pill supplements came up, I started dying laughing. I'm like, they did not just make a Joe Rogan joke. That's amazing.
It's like, I'm like, that's so genius though, to make Daily Bugle like, InfoWars, QAnon, like stuff like that. Oh my god.
Oh my god. And then I feel like that's like a transition point into the Otto's first appearance and Norman's first appearance. All that bridge sequence.
So good.
Man, because even Otto was like, is that Norman Osborn?
Yes, that made me freak out. He's like, Norman, because that's a good callback to when Norman first shows up in the parade sequence in Spider-Man 1. That is literally, he looks up and goes, Norman. Oh, that made the callbacks.
The MIT lady switched up real fast. She switched up real fast.
Talks to Doc Ock, like, who do you think you are doing this thing in the bridge? But yeah, just like seeing when Doc Ock showed up, my theater got like cheer, like, yeah, it's Doc Ock. When Norman showed up, my theater came unglued. Like, oh my god, when they saw Goblin, it was just like it was just they weren't like, oh, like you couldn't hear nothing. And like I will say, like, I love Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. Always hated that Goblin suit.
Yeah,
thought it was like the weakest part.
Yeah.
My god, does he get an upgrade in this movie?
Oh
Okay,
my gosh.
you didn't like the part where he goes sleep.
Yeah.
when he breaks into the
like
house,
spraying him in the face like sleep. And, I don't know, it just felt weird. I don't know.
I see when he breaks down May's house, like, finish it!
Finish it! Dude, Willem Dafoe is
I love
pure
whenever
cheese.
Whenever Peter gets back to Strange, he's like, I was attacked by an elf. And then Strange is like, then go get his jolly ass and bring him back.
Oh my! The intro to Lizard was so cool because he's teleported there. It's just in the dark, and Lizard's just there. I want to see that Strange versus the Lizard in the sewers. Like, oh, that's so cool.
I feel bad for that actor though, because like he did not get the same love that everyone else. I mean, but I do think by far he was the weakest Spider-Man villain of all of the movie villains, like of all live action and everything put together. But
that being said, I still think he has like funny lines and like actually pretty cool acting to say. Like, I love him like chasing Ned and MJ later on, like it's a freaking horror movie.
I liked him better in this movie than I did in TASM in the first TASM.
Yeah, I agree.
I also love the scene in that sequence when Strange is like, you brought in other multiversal threat, and Peter's like, what do you mean? And he goes over to Otto and goes, do you know Spider-Man who's Peter Parker? Yes. Is this Peter Parker? No.
No.
He's like, see what I mean? See what I mean there?
I also loved, you changed my spell 6 times, 5 times, 6. It was 6, as we'll find out later on.
Yeah, you disappeared, but we talked about that.
Yeah.
We
cool.
did.
My bad.
I also love he's like when they're talking about the spell and Otto's like, he's like, magic, what, like a birthday party?
And then Strange does something. What does he do? And then he's like, yeah. He's like, how'd you learn that? He's like, a lot of birthday parties.
Yeah, he locks Peter in the prison and lets him out so he can get the ability.
How'd you do that?
By the way, I think that the final member of the Sinister Six was going to be Craven.
Oh.
Because like when it stops, you actually see a guy with a spear in the sky.
You see several. You see Scorpion. You see Rhino. You see.
Oh yeah, you do see Rhino.
No,
Yeah.
you do see a few of them, but I felt like the guy with the spear was the closest to coming through. But yeah.
So if
which would make sense since that was going to be the villain in the next anti-Marvel film.
It also speaks the original villain for this movie before it became a multiversal film.
Gotcha.
Man, Sylvie, you really messed up.
Now, was it Sylvie or what? Like, there's a lot of people that fall off. Like,
No, I know.
Wanda, Sylvie, Peter.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else in the first act. Whenever Ock has him like pinned upside down underneath the bridge, he just rips off his helmet. He's like, "Wait, you're not Peter."
I'm so confused.
And then when Doc Ock's arms get nanotech.
Oh, the nanotech. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And he's like waving to him. He's like, huh? He's like, I have control now.
he blew tooth paired with him. Like, it's fine now.
Yeah, it was just like pairing. It felt very like it felt unceremonious. But that was important to like just move the story along. Like we gotta move forward,
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, stay here because I said so. Like Peter's trying to act all intimidating, and Doc Ock is just wrapped up in his own arms on the bridge. He's like, hold on 1 second, stay here.
Yeah. Then obviously
MIT switches up.
moving in a little bit forward to the second act when Peter's going after Electro and Sandman. Dude, I love that introduction because Sandman stays true to him. Spider-Man 3 shows up. He's like, hey, friend, you need help with this guy?
Well, the Sandman introduction was so cool. It felt like you were in a horror movie. How like it just went like you just saw like sand in like the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my biggest concern coming to this film is because in the last film, like I said, you can't beat Sandman. Like. So it was like, how is he going to fight him? Like, how is he going to, without preparation, fight Sandman? And the answer is he doesn't. So that's cool. But like, also we can talk about his costume. Like we were all speculating about this black costume, but when he was trying to scrub it, he looked at it and he was like, "Oh, that'll work," and he just turned it inside out, which is like, yeah.
That's very Peter Parker.
Yeah.
It's like it's very boxers wore them one day, inside out the next day, turn them backwards the third day. The other way. Like
that's also
not that I do that. I'm beyond the bachelor years. You know what I mean? I can't. Once you're married, you can't pull that stuff off anymore. I wish I could.
Trying to think what else. There's
that black suit was getting so hyped up, and it was only in the film for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Also seeing Electro, like holy hell, Jamie Foxx in this movie was like, I don't know. I just really like Dylan here a lot more than in like TASM too. I don't know what it is, but like I feel like he's like allowed to just I feel like Jamie Foxx was put more of himself into the character, and like because he has my favorite joke in the film, which we'll get to later on. I think Chaco knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That new energy must have like changed his hairline and make them jacked and a good-looking dude. Holy crap!
Well, that makes sense because it's the MCU energy with like literally like you got Tony Stark and like Hank Pym reworking everything and like making technology. He's getting a lot at once.
Hey man, I'm a member of the Avengers. Oh, that's cool. What is that?
It's like, yo, that's awesome, man. That's so awesome.
Is it like a band? Are you in a band?
He's in a band. He's in a band.
It's like not like it's like I'm not butt ass naked. Like yeah, it's gonna get me something.
That's hilarious. You guys are acting like I'm not butt ass.
Yeah, moving it a little bit later. My favorite joke comes up in this scene is when he sends Peter why is he Peter? He sends Electro and Sandman into the prison, and then they're talking about how they all died, and then he's like, "I know you," and he like points to Kirk Connor. He's like, "You try to turn the entire city into lizards," and everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
He's like, yeah, it's the best, man.
You think it was the next step in human evolution? And everyone's like, what?
That was some of my favorite moments, just the villains interacting and talking and getting like showing their personalities. That was so cool. He's like, I could change you too, Max. It's like, no.
They did banter in this movie like perfectly.
So
I'm sure we'll talk about it obviously later, but just banter.
I can change you too. You mean turn me into a lizard? Yes. God damn it, man.
And then the smash cut to another good callback with Norman in the mask, and he's talking to the mask again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, chills.
And he smashes it.
Oh,
smashes the mask in the back. And then Aunt May's like, "Hey, Peter, someone's here to talk to you." He just walks in.
Can I say bravo to John Watts of having the forethought to get rid of the mask and just let Defoe's face be the scary thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my god! This might be my favorite Goblin design. The armor with the purple scarf and the face and the goggles. It just works so well.
I think Defoe really stole the show in this film.
The guy's just he chews the scenery, and it's in the best way. You know,
it's like it felt like Brian in the chat with Dr. Connors was right. No, he was not, Brian.
No, he was not. He was not right.
But just like Peter and Norman's relationship felt here, like Goblin Spider-Man felt like it was ripped straight from the comics. Like it felt like I'm like, this is a Goblin and Spider-Man interacting. Like it was just handled so I just love it so much.
Well, because for me, there's always the question of who is, and it just depends on the writer or like what storylines you really love, but like who is Peter's greatest nemesis? And in this, they're like Goblin for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'd argue in the comics it was Doc Ock, but like the arguments can be made at different points for Doc Ock, Venom. Like there's a lot of people. That's one of the reasons I love Spider-Man. But the way that Willem Dafoe, even if you watch the interviews, everyone else was like, holy crap, let's get out of this guy's way. You know what I mean? Like they all knew something special was happening.
Yeah, and then obviously moving forward after Peter takes Norman back, I love because Norman's a part of the original interaction. I love the interaction between Norman, Otto, and Sandman about how they all died.
How they all died? Yeah.
It gives you chills. You're like, oh wow, like they
Norman,
it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be here. You're a ghost. Like you die, impaled by your own glider. You're like, it's like, cause if you know, you know. You're like, oh my god. And like, I also love
Speed Spider-Man.
Godspeed Spider-Man. Oh,
I also love before Goblin is taken to the prison. Like Aunt May says, like these aren't like just like bad guys. These are like men with issues, and like they're going to die. Like you need to, like campground rules, like leave it better than the way you found it. Like you should like help them, you know. Like this is not like yes, he's dangerous, but like this is like a sick person who needs help. Like you should like look, you know. And like this would of course lead to like being like the impetus, the main conflict of the story.
Yeah,
it's like that optimism that he has is just almost too good.
He's like, oh yeah, like most of you die. It's like, literally said like you die, and they literally get pulled right from the moment that their fate is sealed. Like he's like, oh, I had him. I was at the machine, then I was here. I was frying you. I was beating you, and then I'm here. Like, it's like literally right before their fate is sealed.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man 2. It's right before Peter gives him the speech about the Ant-Man gave him in Spider-Man 2. He's like, I had him around the neck. That's what it happens for Otto. I mean, obviously Electro, it's when he's turning into electricity.
Can we also appreciate real quick Alfred Molina, because I feel like he got redeemed for the no, listen to me now. I don't know, the part it felt weird. Yeah. And I know as an actor, he played this role beautifully. It was just written awkwardly. And I think he absolutely killed it in this role. Like he felt like Doc Ock, and he made personal decisions that didn't feel like they were written for story to move forward. He made decisions based off of what someone in his situation would do.
Yeah.
Then
I dig it.
Yeah, moving a little bit forward, we got Peter taking him into the apartment and then giving him all upgrades.
Oh yeah.
Can we talk about the Doctor Strange fight as well?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about the Doctor
There's
Strange
so much in this movie.
Which, like, I feel like if it was a fight to the death, I don't think Peter has a chance against Strange.
Yeah, no.
But like, he beats him. So like, what?
He beats him with geometry.
Yeah, I love that. He's like, there's one thing better than magic. Math. And they get all webbed up.
Just the visuals on that, like, holy hell. It's just like this. Oh, this is the Mirrorverse where I control everything. You're like, oh my god, Multiverse of Madness is gonna slap.
The city turns upside down. Oh,
they're just at the Grand Canyon via train.
Again, he just took them into dev mode. He pulled up his Android phone and he hit the build number 7 times, and he went into dev mode, and that's what the Mirrorverse is. That's all it is.
I don't know how I feel about you reducing magic like this.
I'm saying that's literally what he did, and that's why math wouldn't work if it was like if this was Harry Potter and you're like by square this by pi, that wouldn't work. Like it's just
again, like the all powerful former sorcerer supreme. A teen who knows math.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident that you could take Doctor Strange, pluck him straight out of the MCU, and put him in the Matrix, and he'd be just as powerful. I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to think about it
possibly.
But again, obviously, moving forward past the Strange fight, because I forgot about that, because there's just so much that happens in this movie.
I have a question. Do you guys think? Because one of my friends who's like a giant Doctor Strange fan, right after the movie ended, he went, "I feel like Strange would have pressed the button."
He tried.
No, I'm saying like later in the film when he has it, he went, "I feel like he would have just pressed the button."
No, I do have to.
It's like, why?
Because before he got it, they were like, it's working.
Yeah.
What he planned was working, and Doctor Strange is a man of science, and he wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And, that's. There's no way his curiosity wouldn't allow him would make him be like, nope, just shut it off. It's like, it's working.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I know. That's how I feel. And you're all entitled to feel like opposite, but yeah.
I agree, because like he saw a lizard turning back to human, Peter, and he's like, it is working. Oh my god, Peter's plan's working. Yeah, but again, moving forward into the upgrade sequence, like obviously Otto gets upgraded with Norman's help, and There's this one moment I really want to highlight. I love it when Otto's like, he goes, "You know what, Norman? You're gonna go back to normal. Your darker half is going to be gone." And I watched it again. That's the moment where Norman flips.
It's so good. I love Aunt May giving Doc Ock the water.
He's like, "You're an octopus, right?"
Yeah, salt or fresh.
Yeah, salt or fresh water. Yeah.
That and Electro and Sandman. I fell into a vat of eels. I fell into Slipper Collider. Huh? No kidding. Be careful, you fall.
When Sandman, so right whenever Sandman walks into the apartment, he sits down and he brushes off the couch. It's like Sandman is brushing off that couch for infinity because it's just.
I love. I'm sorry. Go.
Just real quick. That's kind of what made this movie, is because there's a lot of absurdities in comic book movies, just in general, that they force us to suspend disbelief. Some of them are better at it than others, or whatever. But this fully acknowledged all of the cheese from all of the trilogies, and was just like, "Hey, isn't that weird?" And they're like, "Yep, it's weird, but that's how it is. So, okay, let's move on." And like, I thought that was done tastefully with just enough self-awareness to just work, you know?
Yeah.
There's also the great bit where they go through the doorbell app and Happy sees them all like, "Hey, Peter, who are all those in my condo? This guy made of mud."
There's like a dinosaur and man made of mud.
Let's be honest. He was actually worried that they were about to run a train.
What? What? Choco, what? No!
But Peter walked in right before he put his stuff.
What?
This is amazing.
So while we're on this train of thought now, because Choco brought us there. So when Doc Ock showed up, my friend.
This train of thought.
Shut up. When Doc Ock shows
Peter was
up,
just a conductor.
Peter with the connector.
I hate all of you so much. So when Doc Ock showed up, my friend taps me and goes, "Hey, Doc Ock got me the tentacle porn." I'm like, why did I need to know that?
You just casual conversations with Malik, you know.
Yeah.
Brian,
it's a podcast.
Hey,
Brian, sad Dr. Connors was left outside in the chat.
That was great.
Oh my god.
But moving a little bit forward past that sequence.
Yeah, back. Let's get back to PG-13 at least.
Yes. So
this is all Chaco's fault.
moving past, the tentacle porn, going back to the normal Spider-Man discussion and everything. I love the sequence when Peter, his spider sense starts going off, and like he knows everything's up.
Oh my gosh, the spider sense is like
awesome.
perfect.
He's just like, who is it? Who's gonna mess it up?
The camera effect they did, and like the background was moving, but his head was staying in place. Oh my god.
Okay, so let's also acknowledge the way spider sense works. It comes from the source, from the web of life. Just super weird, and I can't even fully explain it. In the 90s animated Spider-Man, Madam Web is what's his name's wife? My goodness, the main Marvel guy. Anyhow,
Beyonder? Am I wrong about that? I might be wrong about that.
No. Is literally voice acted by Stan Lee's wife.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. But
Madam Web.
Yeah, Madam Web is. But Spider-Man's spider sense comes from beyond this galaxy, but we never know or knew how it would come out in this context. And it's the spider sense was why Doctor Strange couldn't get the box
Yeah.
even
How
while
are
he
you
was not
doing
in his
this?
own body. But like the warning that it gave him, where it's just like going off, and he's like, God, that was just such a cool scene.
Oh, and then
It's like, and then Norman gets that great scene where like he gets his hand webbed. He's all like, "We are gods. We are not given. We take." And I'm like, "Oh."
the way
You didn't really think I was gone, did you?
yeah, I love how when he's webbed up and he goes, he's like, we're not men, we're gods. I love how it cuts to Electro and he's looking down at the device like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. That like, cause like I feel like Electro and Green Goblin were the two that were going to flip no matter what. And the way like Green Goblin manipulates him is so perfect. And then I love when Peter turns around and goes, May, run.
Well, because Electro as a character is beyond Omega level. He's just not smart enough. Like in the comics, he's not smart enough to know it or know how to use it. Like that's the only reason he ever loses is because he's not the smartest. MCU or not? I guess technically MCU one now is way smarter than comic book version. He's just like zappity zap. You know, like, you could probably do a lot more than that, man.
Which this sequence is, I'll say this right now, one of the best action sequences in MCU films and maybe even superhero films. It's that sequence with Peter and Green Goblin fighting through the hotel. They're going through all the levels.
He starts beating the crap out of him. He's like, smiling the entire time. Like,
as a pro wrestling fan, I popped so freaking hard when he legitimately power bombed him through the floor. And they went through floor after floor. I'm like, oh my god, this is the greatest shit ever.
And also, you know, it gave you the feels of playing Spider-Man PS4 because that first fight with Kingpin does some similar things. They're obviously not on the same level, but still.
I meant to add, so another cool thing is that like that's all Willem Dafoe because he wanted to do all the stunts and all the actions. That's just like however old he is. I think he's like in his like early or like late 50s or early 60s, like Dafoe, just like doing all these insane stunts and fights and all that. I'm like, Jesus.
Isn't he like 66?
But just like he said, he was like, you know, doing the stunts gives you like the skin in the game that your performance has to be on. It makes you feel the character because you are doing the stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Him and Adam Driver, man.
Yeah. Then I love how like when the sequence is ending and like they're crashing and May's look right there and Green Goblin's choking. And it was he's like your will is choking you, Peter, and he's like physically choking him out.
And he has like sweat like dripping off his face. Like, oh my god.
I watched you through Osborn's weak eyes. I'm like, oh my god. Again, like just the look just works so well. This is like the goblin that's the freaking goblin on screen.
And then like obviously when May runs over and like injects him with the serum and like he just like takes it off for a second and he just looks back at her and like smiles. You're like, oh fuck.
Work. He's like, it didn't work.
What is she gets like something like is it like a pipe or something?
Yeah.
I know, what is it? It's something really random. Like that's not doing anything nice.
Well, like, it had like a sharp point to it, I think, but like still like that scene, like I was like, oh my god, it's on the edge of my seat when like because he's holding Peter, he's got like the knife, and you're just like, like, May, that's a genuine psychopath, like just like.
Yeah, and that's the full Palpatine, you know? Like you never go full Palpatine. That's
you don't know the gasp I had when the glider went through and hit May. I was like, oh, the gasp I had. I was in the theater. I was like, no.
I have a funny story about this. So the first time, obviously, I was like, oh my god, blah, blah, blah. The second time, starting to get teary-eyed during the scene. And then my friend, who was seeing it for the first time, right as she got hit, he went.
That's a bad.
Get a new friend. Get a new friend.
And I went.
That's it.
I was like, yo, and he just like.
That is a man that will kill you with no hesitation, and will with a blank face.
And then after she got hit and then like stood up like she was fine, there were people who walked out of the theater and thought it was a good time for a bathroom break. Like,
I feel like that's the harshest I judge people is when they choose to go to the bathroom during these types of movies. Like,
yeah, it's like you just
like
went
you
to the
haven't been
bathroom and she
dehydrating yourself for hours.
See, like
Like you're gonna come back and she's dead.
I freaking love just like how they fake you out. We're like, oh yeah, she's up. No, she's up on adrenaline right now. Like, and then eventually it subsides, and you're just like, no. I did not expect them to kill May like that at all. I did not see. If I thought anyone was dying, I thought it was gonna be Happy.
I thought it was gonna be Ned, but
I thought it was gonna be Happy.
when she stands up and she says the comic book accurate version with great power, there must also come great responsibility. Not the Raimi version, the accurate version. When she said that, I was like, oh my god, they're doing it. They got it right.
Power also must come great responsibility.
They got the comic version.
And they earned it too. Because
Yeah.
I've heard that saying a million times in my life. I felt it that time,
It's just like the moment he's like, I messed up. He's like, no, you did the right thing. Like, you are a good person. This is okay that you did that. Like, you are, like, the fact that she's, like, literally dying, no, they still need your help. Like, you can still, like, do good. It's like, damn, like, I had them thug tears, man.
Oh, yeah. There were definitely tears rolling down the face multiple times during that.
This is like what, the second MCU movie to ever make me cry, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Endgame and this for me.
For me, it was Panther and this.
Endgame.
I teared up during our Cap 2 when they're like fighting.
Oh god, yeah, that's also right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Teary-eyed. The end of No Way Home was a ball.
Yeah.
Nah,
You cried.
Just the shot of Defoe on the glider as he goes away. It's just like, holy shit,
dude. He did the thing I wanted him to do in Spider-Man 1. I was like, when he flew off and started throwing the bombs backwards into Peter, I was like, you sadistic monster.
Yeah. And the laugh is so good.
He's had enough.
Like he's had stop, she's already dead.
Then I love, because again, like when it fades to black and I would say that's the end of the second act, and then when Peter's on the rooftop with the rain, that got me hard.
His acting there was spectacular.
This is Holland's best performance by far.
For sure.
Holland.
I mean,
damn.
Speaking of moving forward, this is all of their best performances.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Like Zendaya's and so I've been thinking about this. Like my favorite couple in the MCU is Steve and Peggy. Peter and MJ is at least tied with them right now after this movie.
Peter and MJ is number one for me.
They're really. I'm sorry.
No. For me, I mean, I do love Steve and Peggy, but I love Big Peggy and Little Steve.
Same.
No.
Yes.
Same.
Let's Peggy by reputation.
Choco, what energy are you on this?
Choco.
What energy are you on right now?
Oh,
Jesus.
we got symbiote Choco tonight.
You got variant.
I was on Twitter a lot today. No, but no. When I say best performances, I mean if we're moving into the third act, I feel like the third act begins with the introduction of two old characters, and I felt both of them acted their minds out. And I feel like they've had however long to consider what they would do if they came back or kept going, and they brought those older, more mature, more fully realized and actualized versions of these characters to the forefront, and it was incredible.
They got introduced as it was so perfect, and then that whole banter, are you actually Spider-Man? And they hops up on the wall, She's like, "That's not enough. Crawl around."
And when the grandma's
Like
like,
my
"There's a
little one
cob."
knows you get the combo Yori up there.
Okay, fine. It's back.
And then it was Pep that was talking about it because my dad Element 7 is Filipino, just like Ned Leeds in it, and for him it was a great experience hearing them speak in Tagalog for
Nice.
that part.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Mhm.
I was gonna ask, going
Did-
back. Oh, sorry, you go, Hunter.
I was gonna say, whenever Toby came in, they're like, "Dang it!" Like, why is there a normal guy walking through the portal? I think MJ said this. He's like, "And we got a normal guy."
So you guys actually heard your lines in the theater.
Yeah.
I was
Because,
paying attention the second time, not the first time.
No, I did, but like when they first came through, again, theater came unglued.
Yes.
Like, couldn't hear
Yeah.
anything, like just the cheerings and oh my goodness.
So I'll say this on the podcast. So I had my sister on my right of me, and she grew up with the Raimi and Garfield movies. When Garfield came through and Maguire, she started punching my arm like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!" Then Maguire
See,
showed
my
up, she
friend was
lost
literally-
it.
See, with my theater, the portal opens like, show me Peter. The portal opens, and then like you just see a Spider-Man suit in the background. Like, oh, there he is. Then you just hear some of the background going, wait a minute in the background. So, and they start gradually building. When he actually comes through and takes off the mask, it just start like people's going, oh my god. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Ours was like everyone was cheering, and then there was like a brief pause when he like reached up. When we took it off, the cheers just went from nothing to.
Yeah. So as a geek, there's like certain things that moment, like the energy was the same. So like I'll compare it to the energy of like Evo 2004 finals with I don't play if you all play Street Fighter, but like the match with Ken versus Chun-Li. It was the same energy of Smash Brothers Wombo Combo. If you're
Oh
familiar with that.
yeah.
It was the same energy as on your left in game. There's just like certain moments that have this specific energy where people just like there's gonna stampede. Like can you pause the movie so we can like dance for a bit?
For me, like the last time I had like something with like that much energy was honestly Force Awakens, probably when Rey first grabs the saber. My theater came freaking unglued for that moment for her. Again,
like
it's
yielded Mjolnir.
that was also really good. It's again, but like God, just it was unreal to see those two again. Like, what a way to introduce them to again. Not like a big spectacle. Like, oh, they're just in someone's house. Okay.
So,
and that's why I say this movie cheated in going this high, is because it pulled so successfully on my heartstrings, so successfully drew on my nostalgia that I can't separate the two. Was it good, or do I just like, or is this just nostalgia? I don't know. I don't care. I love it. I'm just gonna like bathe in it, you know.
See, I was actually able to separate because my biggest fear was that I didn't want Holland's because like because I always felt like this is Holland's movie and I was really scared that like that this is gonna be taken away from him. No, this is the 100% like this is Holland's Spider-Man story. This is his story, and that they are all just like kind of like characters that I really enjoy. Like no, like we are finishing his story throughout this trilogy, and god damn it, they ended it with a bang. John Watts, man, knows his Spider-Man.
So again, going back to the Discord server, I remember for months I was having arguments in VC. I rarely go in VC there, but like every once in a while we'll have a VC, and I was having an argument with the person. The person's like, this is Maguire and Garfield. So I'm like, no, it's Holland's movie, just like how Spider-Verse is Miles' movie. You gotta go understand that. He's like, no, I don't like Far From Home. I love Homecoming, but no, this is Maguire and Garfield. I'm like, dude, no, you gotta understand this is Holland's movie before going in.
Yeah, I don't really think. Why would you think it wasn't Holland's movie? It doesn't. It's literally. But like they did, like their role just played such a perfect. Like it was done so perfectly that like it ended their arcs
Oh,
while guiding Tom.
I love that moment. It's like we feel like he needs us. Yeah, we got to be
Yeah.
there for him. And like, does he have like a place he goes just by himself? Like, yeah, I had the Christ building, I have the Empire State Building. Yeah, great view. Of the Christ
Great
Building.
view,
Like,
yeah.
that was really good.
Also, I just want to talk about the maturity of the original, or sorry, the first Spider-Man, because for a second I thought that when he said, "Oh, I use the Empire State Building, better view," I was like, "No, don't be a spider pissing match," and he's like, "That is a good view." And you're like,
I love
"Yay!"
it. Like,
You know what I mean? Like,
good.
I don't know.
I love. Oh, sorry. You got Suki in the back. I love
I
how.
was just gonna say,
Sorry, go Carter.
like, I was gonna say, I feel like Toby in the suit because he's like so old now. I just feel like he's gonna break his back the entire time.
Which we'll get to that later
Yeah.
on.
My back.
My back. Which we heard in the intro. I threw it in there at the end instead of the screaming guy with the stormtrooper through my back, my back. Dude, I love how I love Toby's energy in that scene. Andrew, when they're having their little web match, and Lady, the Ned's grandmother's like, "Can you clean this up?" And Toby's like, "Yeah, we'll clean it up." And like that gave me some like Mr. Dickovich like energy, like when Toby would have like interactions wise.
They pull a lot from a lot of great memes, honestly, because they do that. I'm something of a scientist myself.
Yes, they do.
They do a version of the point meme later on. They even reference the Rent and Dickovich later on in the ending as well. So a lot of meme love in this one.
And then again, going to the next scene, like we referenced, dude, when they're like, "I think he needs us," and then Tom Holland's crying on top of the high school building, and like and MJ and Ned like comfort him, and then MJ's like, "You have some friends here," and they look up, and it's the outlines of the two Spider-Man hanging out. That gave me chills.
Yes.
That whole scene is just S tier.
Yeah, and Tom's like, "You guys need to go home. It's time for you guys to leave." They're like, "No, calm down, calm down."
It's a scene that breaks down what makes Spider-Man such a great character, and like at the core of like what makes Spider-Man so like iconic and relatable. Like this is it, and they release. Like he says, like, "Don't tell me what I'm going through." Like, no, they actually do know what you're going through, Peter. They've been through exactly this. So, like, that's why they're here.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it truly breaks down what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man, because they've all had different histories. They have different villains. They have different love interests, but they're all Spider-Man, and they all have the same core. And that's like, that was beautiful to be like, yes, we can tell this story 1,000 different ways, but this is the crux. This is the thing. This is, when he's like, "I failed to save my girlfriend," and you're like,
it's like, "When was my MJ?"
And then because like Toby goes, because he's talking about great responsibility. Toby goes, "For me, it was Uncle Ben," and then Andrew goes, "For me, it was Gwen Stacy, my girlfriend."
And then not only that, it explains stuff after, because like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man says, like, "Oh no, like after a while I got bitter. I stopped pulling my punches." Like, "Oh damn!" And then like "I don't want that for you." And you're like, "Wow,
I want to see that movie." You know what I mean? That was the equivalent of What If showing like that badass version of Gamora, and you're like, "Huh? Can we see that, please?"
That scene is like, and then in the same scene, I love Peter going, "Yeah, my Aunt May told me with great power," and then Toby goes, "With great responsibility."
Which Straw Hat called that like 2 months ago. I remember watching one of his videos, and he like said something, blah blah blah, and then he went, and then Tom starts it, and he's like, one of the other ones finishes it. It's like, and I remember getting chills. The only reason I remember that is because like I explained that video really really poorly, but I remember just getting chills after I watched it, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And then it happened in the movie, and I was like, "He predicted that."
so good,
so good. Oh.
Xanatos in the chat said, "We are all the Spider-Man," but in my
We're
head,
all
I heard, "We are Spider-Man." Bum,
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 bum.
bum. J.K. Simmons is Spider-Man, like in the deleted scene in Spider-Man 2. He's just jumping up on the desk.
And then,
Spider-Man.
kind of moving forward, they all start gearing up for war, which is a great scene.
Dude, my
Oh yeah, working in the laboratory.
Work in the lab.
my favorite moment in that scene, a lot of people laughed at it, but I was like, this is tragic as fuck, is when Ned rolls up to Peter and goes, "Hey, did you have a best friend in your universe?" And he goes, "Yeah, he turned into a
He
goblin and
tried to
died."
kill me.
I was like, oh, pain.
And you have
Yep,
Andrew
just like Ned is gonna turn into Venom.
and then you have Andrew Garfield just looks at Ned going, "Dude."
And
Yeah.
then Ned goes up to Tom and he's like, "I promise I am not going to become a crazy person and kill you." And Tom's just like, okay.
Oh.
There's also the moment when Andrew and Toby are talking. He's all like, "Oh, did you make your relationship work?" Like, "Yeah, we actually did make it work." I'm like, "Oh, he stayed with Mary Jane in the Raimi verse?
Well,
Why?"
I have a theory to that. He never left it open. He just said, he goes, "It's complicated, but you and or her and I figured it out." My theory with that is they figured it out by breaking up.
Hopefully.
That was my theory on that.
I'm not a
That's
fan.
that's just Kirsten Dunst slander.
No,
And I'm
I
here
have
for
no,
it.
I have no problem with Kirsten Dunst. I just think Mary Jane in those movies is, what's the word?
I wouldn't-
Not great.
I would say also the Raimi trilogy overall was pushing towards Peter and MJ breaking apart. It was kind of like it was going to happen at some point. It was the whole message of 3 was this is not going to work out. Peter and MJ need to break up because Peter can't balance his life between him and Spider-Man. So I feel like that was what the movies were pushing towards anyway. So I think it kind of makes sense. Again, they left it very open-ended to what happened between those two, which I loved.
Maybe it's because that's what the comics have been pushing for so long. They've gone on record being like they will not get back together. They will not get back together, and they haven't been together for. I mean, I don't. I'm not up to date actually, but they've been broken up since One More Day. Like that, it hasn't come back. They've like talked and like.
Last I properly read, she was hanging out with Iron Man. Like,
yeah, she like became the new Pepper Potts. It was super weird. I did not like that.
No, that's great because she was hanging out with Tony, and then Peter's like, "Oh yeah, well 2 can play this game. Hello, Pepper Potts," and she's like, "No," hangs up. He's like, "Well."
Hey, you miss every shot you don't take.
Yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Again, moving a little bit forward, I love the scene before they go into Battle, and Tom's like, and it's like, "Here, all right, fell just some web fluid," and Toby goes, "Web fluid?" And he just shoots it out. They're like, "Whoa, that come out of your wrist?" And Andrew's like, "That's so fascinating."
Again, the banter is just so perfect.
It's like I don't want to make you feel weird about it, but like I want to know how it works. Like, is that the only place it comes out of, or like?
Yeah,
they address it because in the comics it only comes out of his wrist for a very short period of time. It still comes out from Kane, but that's there was a whole thing where he becomes a gigantic spider, and then he bursts out of the spider's like.
It's weird
carapace.
as hell, and then he gets natural web fluid because he wanted to tie it in with the Raimi movies at the time because they wanted to make that the status quo for some reason.
But then he also has like spider like daggers that come out of his arms too, and it's super weird. But that's only because he represented the spider totem, but that got passed on to Kane.
This is why web shooters are better.
It was so weird, but yeah.
Although I will say the best iteration of Spider-Man is Spiders Man. Spiders Man.
What?
It's a version of Spider-Man where basically it's just spiders. It's a suit full of spiders, and together they are collectively a person. but it's just a suit full of spiders. It's super it's super
What
weird.
the heck?
Look up spiders, man.
There-
It's awful.
There are literally just times I really wanted to start a podcast just called Because Comics. But someone took it and I can't use it now. But that's always been my catchphrase to people where you're explaining something and you're like, what the hell? You go, Because Comics.
It's like Sandman, but it's spiders.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, so good.
But getting back to the banter, I love that whole... Like, I could have got a whole movie of Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield just hanging around talking about shit. Because I love the sequence where he's like... And Andrew's like, what type of villains did you face? And we're like, who's your hardest villain? And Tobey's like, yeah, I fought a black goo alien monster. And Tom's like, yeah, I fought a purple alien in space and at Earth. Andrew's like, I feel so lame. I fought a Russian guy in a rhino's costume.
It's like, you're not lame. Say it. Say you're amazing. Say you're amazing.
You're
Say
amazing.
it.
You're amazing.
That I also love. He says, "I love you guys," and they're just like, "Yes." They don't say it back.
Oh my god, that's...
I love the energy Andrew brought for his Spider-Man with that. It was
Oh
so
my
good.
God. So good.
And then you get the little reference to the pointing meme in that scene because Andrew points at both of them.
Mhm.
There's that. There's all. Oh my god, the back thing. Like I have a back thing, you know. Like it's always bugged me. There's oh my god, so many great callbacks coming up in the fight as well. It's like so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then moving into the fight, they like the first time they go out, they're just getting the snot beat out of them.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Yeah.
We're not part of the team. We're not working like a team. We need to work like a team. I'm X-Men on the team. Oh, you are the Avengers. Earth Mightiest Heroes. How is this helping us right now?
No, I love that. They're like, the Avengers. That is great.
That's awesome.
What is that?
That's so awesome.
Is that a boy band? Are you in a boy band?
You guys don't have the Avengers?
Because I always
Trust your tingly thing and let's go.
Because I always theorized in the Raimi verse for some reason they never confirmed or denied because in Spider-Man 2 they act like Doctor Strange is a thing. I always thought weirdly enough the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man were all connected in the same universe for some stupid reason. I always kind of headcanon that, but now that kind of just decanonized that headcanon. But
Yeah, and then when they jump off.
oh
My god.
That's gonna be a lot of Facebook covers.
and then the sequence of them jumping and all of them landing in different ways.
When they jump off, whenever it's like as they like swing off, there's like one swing where they all like swing off of each other, like a trampoline, and they like keep going, and then they land, and it's like.
I did not expect them to actually get Thomas Hayden Church back when they cure him. Like, oh, snap, that's actually Thomas Hayden Church. See, I thought that's why he was like sand the whole time, so they didn't have to show Thomas Hayden. So they didn't have to show that's not Thomas Hayden Church. Like, oh, that's actually him from Spider-Man 3. Also, this sequence has my favorite joke of when they cure Electro, when Andrew cures Electro, and he's like, "Oh man, like you're so cool. You help poor folks. I just thought you'd be black. I'm sorry, man." He goes, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
There has to be a black Spider-Man somewhere.
Yeah.
There will.
And then obviously Strange comes back as Tom Holland cures the Lizard, and then obviously Andrew cures the Electro. And the best part about the sequence is I keep going back to the soundtrack version. They're playing the leitmotif for Andrew's theme and Toby's theme in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Toby's is the responsibility theme from Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, and then Andrew's is just the TASM 1 theme.
Nice.
The thing I love though is it also kind of sets up the possibility of us getting a Miles at some point in the future, because he has just been mentored by 3 Spider-Man, and because of that, I would love it if we did get like a young Miles and like Peter tried to take over that role, at least for a short period of time for him.
Yeah. Also, turning to the chat a little bit, Clayton brought up a good point. He goes, they reused scenes from Spider-Man 3. Thomas Hayden Church was never on set. Yeah, because the scene where he gets his hand restored is the same shot from Spider-Man 3 where he turns to mud. People did side-by-side comparisons. I think it's a different take, but it's the same shot. It's confusing, I know.
Gotcha.
Same for the
Can we
lizard.
talk about how Thomas Hayden Church just looks like a cartoon character? Like you just look at her face and you're like, is he real? I don't know. Why is he so severe?
Yeah. And then we missed over a key detail of Otto showing back up and like placing the thing on Electro and him turning good. And then the dialogue between Toby and Doc Ock of he goes, the power of the sun, and Toby going, in the palm of your hand, and he goes,
with an arc reactor. I'm like, that's so good.
and then dude, I love how he's like, you're all grown up, kid, because they're the same age in that scene. It's such a good scene.
And then in comes the goat goblin.
Yeah.
He cuts off an arm. Like, so I know like I'm into a movie when like I'm not reacting to like combat, I'm reacting to like small bits in the plot. I made an I audibly yelled no when the box had the bomb in it. I was like no, like I was like off my seat.
And then that cues into the big moment.
I'm about to make another TikTok sound, y'all. Just.
Oh.
I just feel like we need to have edits where we have the what the goon to a goblin.
Yeah, Brooke, we are literally getting into that. So the bomb blowing up, the shield dropping, and MJ dropping off the monument. Oh my god, that's Andrew's best moment in this entire movie. So
I've never like immediately cried that hard.
Yes,
I felt like tears were being physically pulled from my face.
So when Andrew,
I didn't even want to cry, and I knew what was going to happen.
So I annoyed. So I actually started the cheer on that scene because when Andrew caught her, I yelled. I actually know I annoyed the person next to me with this one, but when he caught her, I was like, "Let's go, let's go!" Like I got.
You pulled the soups.
And then after I did that, the theater then followed behind me and then erupted when he caught her.
Well, whenever Tom got hit away by the glider, the whole theater went.
I reacted to that too. I was like, no, and then like he caught her, and she's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah,
the tears in his eyes, and he's like looking down at MJ. He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "No," because I was again, I was with Jay Stubes on this before the movie came out, because everyone was predicting this was going to happen, and I was one of the people where I'm like, do I want this to happen? Like, is this good for Tom Holland? No, fuck that. Andrew Garfield's performance in that scene made that scene perfection.
So good.
Then perhaps one of my favorite Marvel fights of all time, the showdown between Goblin and Peter, like that. I have never been intimidated by Tom Holland until he had said, "No, I'm just gonna kill you myself." I'm like.
And then I love
Tom.
He takes his stance and just glares at him.
I love Green Goblin being like, "Good boy." I love that scene because that's what he was trying to do with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 1. He was trying to get him to kill him, and he's getting it.
And then when he's just being the crap out of him,
and he's just laughing like the Joker.
He's winning the fight but losing his soul. You're like, no, Peter.
And then when they turn to the other,
I'm gonna make you break your one rule.
Oh my god.
But Tom does this punch where he does like a 360 and just punches him in the face. You're like,
yeah, but we gotta talk about something because Tom Holland was absolutely gonna kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
There was no remorse. Like he was going to die in that scene.
Yeah,
for sure. He was dead. Dead to rights, for sure.
If Tobey Maguire didn't step in and jump in front of the glider, yeah, Tom would have killed him.
How beautiful is that? Toby stops the glider from impaling. That's
yes.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
I would say, because, like, in my opinion, I feel like if you're comparing Toby and Andrew's performance, I would say Andrew had the better performance. However, this scene of Toby and Tom looking at each other as he's holding the glider, that was, Well,
because we also have to think about, and this is something I've been planning to do anyways, but, like, the glider actually like they made it very clear that he thought very long and very hard about how he could have cured Norman for a very long time, and had he synthesized it, like that haunted him in more ways than one. Like the fact that the glider killed Norman is what made his best friend turn against him. Is what like that incident echoed forth so many different times in so many different ways, and I loved that he was one to save Tom from that same fate.
Not only did it kill Norman, it killed Harry and it killed Aunt May, Tom Holland's Aunt May. The glider has killed so many different people in this franchise, and I love how Toby's like, no, I'm not letting one more person die by this glider. And then
Goblet stabs him. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then my theater was like, oh, again, like constant reactions. My theater was like, you just heard so many like no and gasps and all that stuff. You're like, oh my god.
And then when he's laying down, he's like, am I dying? Am I dying? Is that why there's a crack in the sky? He's like, no, you're good.
I love the callback to Spider-Man 3 and he's like getting up and he's like, yeah, I've been stabbed before. Because Harry stabbed him in Spider-Man 3 in that one fight and he just got up.
I was so expecting it. My back.
Oh my.
And then it gets so sad. He's like, Strange's about to do the spell, and they wish each other goodbye, which was perfect when they both did the peace out to each other. And the second watch through, whenever Ned and Peter did their handshake, and then whenever MJ and Peter kissed, I literally started bawling.
It's so hard. You're like, damn, he really just lost everything. Like, everything.
I was crying, like hysterically crying the second time, because I don't know why. It's bad.
Do you know what type of edit someone needs to make? I'm waiting for the official version to come out. I'm gonna take one last look at my friend edit of that scene.
Ow.
Oh.
Like, again, he says he's about to say I love you, but she says no, don't say it. Just tell it to me when you find me and bring me back. So that he has that drive to get her back. It's like, damn.
And he promises her, and she says, if I don't find you, or if you don't find me, I will.
What's funny is like knowing MJ's personality. Also, let's talk about the fact that they were like, okay, so they're like, this is our MJ, and then people were like, she's part black, she can't be. This is terrible. And so they leaned over. It's like, oh, she's Michelle Jones. And then in this movie, they're like, she's Michelle Jones Watson. And then they call her Miss Watson the whole movie. I don't know. I just that just kind of made me happy. But I loved that scene. It was just so heartbreaking that he had to let her go like that, and to see when he's looking at her at the end of the movie and he sees like the bandage and she's like, yeah, it doesn't hurt so bad anymore. And that's when it clicks. Being with Spider-Man is hurting her. I can't put her through this. I can't hurt her anymore. And you're like
crying on this goddamn podcast right now.
Such a good callback to the ending of the first Spider-Man movie, with Peter having to give up the thing he wants the most. His duty and responsibility takes over.
But she's still wearing the necklace.
Oh.
Now, one thing I noticed was the ending scene when he gets his new suit and looks like sick.
That's literally perfect. That new suit. We've never had blue pop like that. The Spider suit.
Oh.
That's literally a comic panel come to life. That's beautiful.
It was a comic panel. I felt it was very satiny, you know.
I
It is
loved
very,
it.
which is very. I would say satin goes with Christmas a lot.
I love
You guys
we had
think?
the Mr. Ditkovich reference as well. Like, rent's due this time.
Yeah.
When he has his new apartment.
You also get,
Like, it's also
you also get the
I'm sorry,
Spider-Man 3 callback with Peter monitoring the police stations.
yes, that's great.
Mhm.
This is we're getting a whole new trilogy. Kevin Feige just confirmed that they are working on 4 right now. I feel like the next time we're going to see Peter though is going to be Fantastic Four.
We know he has one more big crossover left in his contract, currently before the 3 solo movies. So I'm thinking Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, maybe?
Maybe.
Nah,
No,
I
but
don't-
why? Because Strange forgot about him.
No, he forgot he was Peter Parker. He didn't forget he was Spider-Man.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see where he fits in the Multiverse of Madness. Honestly, I feel like him being in Fantastic Four is like the safer bet.
Okay.
Mhm.
I need him in Fantastic Four. I've been saying this for a while. I think I only made my first TikTok on it recently though, but Multiverse of Madness ends with Doctor Strange. But Multiverse of Madness is we meet a bunch of people who are the vanguards of their own universes, and those people together form the Illuminati. And we are going to
Don't
see
do that to me.
no, we are going to see that there was a universe, right? Because the Avengers didn't exist in the other 2 Spider-Man universes, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's going to be a universe where the X-Men exists, but Spider-Man doesn't. The Avengers don't. The X-Men were the vanguards of their universe, and we're going to have a Professor X from that universe. There's going to be another universe where Reed Richards, is. Basically, it's going to be a meeting of the minds, and we are going to see Black Bolt, and we are going to see a T'Challa. We're going to see a T'Challa.
The thought of seeing this Silent Boy live action, proper live action, just
Oh, he's
That's
just
too
going to be
much.
standing there, and then
too much.
and then if whether they go with Stewart or not, but he's gonna be like, oh, he says this, and you're like, yeah.
I don't think it'll be Patrick
That's gonna happen
Stewart.
in Multiverse of Madness. I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it right now.
I personally don't think it'll be Patrick Stewart just because he did say after Logan he's basically done. I think it'll be who's he? Oh, James McAvoy would probably
James McAvoy.
would probably be the one that would do it.
I think they should just recast. To be honest,
Same. When it comes to X-Men,
I love James McAvoy. Don't get me wrong, but like, he became too big of a name, and then he became James McAvoy as Xavier, not Xavier.
Yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from on that angle.
All those X-Men movies were about these big name actors, and like they weren't about the X-Men, and that's why they were all bad.
That's why I love First Class.
Yeah, but again, kind of switching back to Spider-Man, we got to talk about both end credit scenes. Well, technically the second one's just a trailer. We got to talk about the first one. The Sinister Six member.
Wait, hold on. Before we move on,
Yeah.
do you guys think MJ and Peter are going to get back together later on?
Spider-Man
3 more
3.
movies.
Yeah.
We got 3 more movies.
I
He's
feel
gonna find her and save her, and they're gonna start, but they're not gonna be in school together, so it's not like that constant like being near each other. But I'm gonna bet any amount of money that all the people that knew Peter are gonna have a connection to him, and they're not gonna know what it is. They're gonna feel drawn to him.
Dude.
Because if you notice, right before he jumps out the window of the apartment, there's a coffee cup right there. And it zooms into the coffee cup. I mean, my friends are talking about this, and like, I feel like the only reason they would add in a coffee cup is to show that he's constantly going back to that coffee shop. Because there's a time jump in between the coffee cup scene, because that's more fall, into the last scene, which is Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I feel like they added that cup there to show that he keeps visiting back to the cup to kind of restore that relationship.
I told this to Malik months ago. And I'm gonna say it again, Malik. I know you're gonna be like you're gonna disagree. I said I didn't know about the memory thing because I didn't think about the memory thing. I said in the next trilogy of films, there is going to be a scene where it's Peter in college in his dorm room, and he's going to hear a knock at the door. I think it could be at the end of the next trilogy or the middle. You can fit it anywhere. Peter's going to get up. He's going to open the door. It's going to be MJ, and she's going to say, "Face a tiger. You hit the jackpot."
It doesn't work with
I
this
disagree,
MJ.
but I want it. I want
like,
it for all the reasons.
It doesn't work with this MJ.
Not necessary. Hey, not necessary. Okay, let's face it though. Like, a high school girl might be different. Several years after high school, you know, that's a thing. Also, and one of the reasons why I wasn't sure why people were mad that she was cast as MJ to begin with, because she's like a very, very dry humor and all this stuff, but like she can put it on. You know what I mean? Like she cleans up. We'll say. And I could absolutely see a scene where it's a friend of a friend recommendation for a date, and it's her, and she's fully cleaned up, and like before, she always does her regular thing, which is like, oh, I'm not doing anything, but you're like, you're doing a lot still, you know. But yeah, I can see like you maybe in the future he does actually make friends with Ned, and Ned sets him up with someone, and then it's her, and she says it there. But like college, I don't believe so, because when he moves into the place, he's still trying to get his GED. There's no record of him in school at all. He has to graduate high school again, which I assume he wouldn't really need a studying thing for a GED, because that thing is easy. But
it's just placed there because I think it's just to tell the audience of what he's doing at this moment.
Yeah. And then Palpatine.
Yeah, he has a Lego Palpatine for the Lego Death Star. That's great.
Yeah.
Pain. They gave me some pain. I was like, oh, he's thinking about Ned too.
Yeah, I love that Jamie Foxx says that. Whose Legos are these? I was expecting, like, if they let that scene play, he'd be like, Legos are sick.
I also feel like they wouldn't just just get rid of Zendaya because she's such a big actor. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I feel like Peter is gonna go through another romance, and then they're gonna loop back to MJ. I think Peter will have like, I don't think it'll be Gwen Stacy, but I think he'll have like a Gwen Stacy type, and then he'll break up with her, and then
it's gonna be Black. It's gonna be Black Cat.
Bring in Kitty Pryde.
Oh yeah, you're right, because they're doing the symbiote storyline. So yeah, that would make sense.
Symbiote storylines, but more importantly, people only know Spider-Man at this point. No one knows Peter Parker, and Black Cat famously is attracted to Spider-Man, not Peter Parker, and vice versa. You know, yeah. I see Black Cat as being the obvious person to come in and to realize, oh no, she's not into me. He'd be like, let me take off the suit, and she's like, nah, baby, and he's like,
It stays on during sex.
All right, but it's weird though.
Lily comes back because I dropped the dirty joke. I see how this works.
Yeah, I heard it.
Dude, Leak, I know your opinion of Venom, so I really want to hear your opinion on this end credit scene with Tom Hardy as Venom.
I thought it was fun. I still don't care about the movie at all, but I thought, that's cool. Bye. Thanks for the symbiote.
I was jokingly telling Bale. Sorry, you go.
I was just saying, I also think it's interesting, like, because it's just kind of gave closure to that end credit scene in Venom. We get zapped in. It's like, wait, how did he get zapped in? Because his symbiote knew, right? That's kind of what I interpreted, was his symbiote was the same one that affected Toby or something, and then that's why he got zapped in, because he knew Peter Parker or something like that.
Our hive mind, and it is possible. It is a little funky. But I'm willing to let it pass. Now, I enjoyed Venom as a movie, but I mostly enjoyed just I don't think it was a good movie, but I enjoyed watching Venom and Eddie interact with each other in both films. That being said, if Spider-Man gets a symbiote, it's going to be an amazing movie. Think about how he reacted to having Karen in his suit in the first movie. Now replace her with Venom. That's hilarious. That's the best thing ever.
I'm excited for the implications of. I like the implication that during the whole event of No Way Home, Eddie was just in Mexico getting drunk.
Yeah.
Because I made the joke because I think it was Bale. He was asking about this in Discord. He's like, I don't understand why it was Tom Hardy's Venom. And I made the joke. I was like, you know what? It made more sense. It would have been Topher Grace's Venom, but we're just gonna leave that there and just pretend it never happened.
Brooke wouldn't have been able to leave the theater. Brooke would have passed out.
I hope that Topher Grace shows up in the next movie and he gets hit by a bus or something.
But it's a weird backwards order to do it, but I'm glad they are trying to do the symbiote storyline right this time in live action, because they messed it up twice. Let's get it right the third time.
It's it's just a black orb in Oscorp and TASM, then all of Spider-Man 3.
Let's get it right the third time. Come on, Sony. Because the best way to do it is 2-part storyline. Let's have part 1 be Peter dealing with his rage issues and anger after his identity getting erased, and that could be the great way to the symbiote. Then have him track back to Eddie, and then there you go. There's your Venom 3. They can team up, and then I don't know what the hell Spider-Man 5 is going to be.
I'm really.
So,
I'm sorry. No, good.
No, you were talking first. I apologize.
No, I've talked a lot. You go.
So Felicia Hardy, in the early 90s, the animated version made a young Chaco feel things. We'll say. But that being said, she was teased to happen in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, they were.
Well, she was in it, wasn't she?
It was a character named Felicity. That's all. They legitimately, purposefully did not give her last name. Even Suki was into it, and but that was Jane Urso. Jane Urso. Jane Urso. I would love to see her come back. I know she's not going to come back. That would not make any sense. But I don't know. Just a part of me is like, this is just Jane Urso. I don't know. But you know who I could see playing it? Chloe Grace Moretz.
She'd be a great Black Cat.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think she has been playing that character her entire career. Like she played that character in 30 Rock when she was like a teenager. If you watched 30 Rock, I'm just saying.
I'm trying to think I'm trying to think. Did I ever have an idea for who I cast as Black Cat? And it's kind of hard.
No.
I don't know. I actually don't have an idea. Do we want to talk about the Multiverse of Madness?
Yeah, let's get into that trailer.
Sure.
Hope you watched What If.
Dude,
oh my god.
I literally screamed out, "Holy shit, it's What If Strange! Oh my god!" I literally screamed that out loud in the theater because I was not ready for it.
It's it looks genuinely scary.
It looks very scary.
Marvel's first horror film directed by Sam Raimi of Evil Dead fame. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I am so excited for Multiverse of Madness. Because it's a horror movie. We got Sam Raimi. The multiverse is cracking. We got Wanda going crazy. We got Mordor back. Oh my god.
Hey, Wanda's just trying to chill, cutting some leaves, man. Leave Wanda alone.
Did you see her in that one shot in the trailer? Dude, she she doesn't look good at all.
What
Yeah, I think the one of the big things. Well, also in the trailer, we get to see a bunch of America
Yes,
Chavez.
America Chavez.
And like I feel like no one's mentioned that at all. But like I didn't realize she'd been cast.
Oh
know?
yeah, she was cast a while ago.
Yeah, I get. But as a character, I think she's broken as a character. Like I feel like she's just super strength. I fly and I teleport, and you're like, that's too much.
There's a reason she was on the Ultimates with Galactus.
Are you? Which, by the way, if written correctly, overpowered characters can be awesome. I mean, look at Martian Manhunter. There's several runs that are
Superman. Sorry.
Superman is I can't give it to Superman, not because I don't like Superman, but because he is the bar that is set. And so if you're gonna say like something's good writing, to me, and this could just be me, I feel like there's certain things that there is a bar. And to be good, you have to be over the bar. And if you're bad, you're under the bar. But like he is the bar. And that's how I feel about Star Wars as well. I feel like A New Hope is the bar.
Gotcha.
But and that's why it's in the middle, because it's like, but that's just me. I may just be on a weird thing. Don't listen to me. I'll stop talking.
No, you're good.
Don't listen to me as I'm on like my information-based entertainment. So
Choco's like, here's my moral compass when it comes to movies and shows. All right, I'm gonna shut up now. I'm just gonna leave this here.
Anything? Again, we got some Cthulhu-ass looking monsters with like tentacles and eyes. And then I am all in for Multiverse of Madness, man.
Oh yeah.
You got the live
The
action
tone.
version of the world shattering as you saw in What If.
Dude, it's just like the tone feels different. I'm so hyped for Multiverse of Madness.
It's still programming, but it's Doctor Strange going like, listen, I can program in any language, but you create the languages, Wanda. And I think that's what's going to be the kicker,
Dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna reference something Brooke said in TikTok. I saw it on today. I think she uploaded like 3 or 4 hours ago. I gotta reference this because as soon as she said it, I'm like, fuck, she's right. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck, because I'm not really into Doctor Strange. It's like that my MO. I've always been more of a Spider-Man and like the Avengers. I never really got into the Strange comics. I read a little bit of Illuminati, but not too much. To become Sorcerer Supreme, doesn't the main sorcerer have to die for that mantle to be passed on to the next person? Or can it be gifted upon them?
It is typically passed on in death. Yes.
So Wong's gonna die, right?
Wong died in the first movie.
I mean, he's gonna die again, and it's gonna be depressing as fuck.
No.
As we see, they're a little funky with it because you can die, come back, and still not get the job back. So while funny, Wong dies, he gets the job back. Then Wong comes back
To die.
I mean, Doctor Strange died, so he got better. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Again, like Captain America said, you get killed, walk it off.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like every person in like Infinity War went full loading Greatstorm.
The
but they got
full-loaded
better.
great
You are
sword.
wrong for that one.
Oh my
No.
god. We got Symbiote Choco, like I said today. He just unhinged, just drop his shit. You're like, whoa, Choco!
No. No. I just finished reading Rising Storm 2 yesterday. Not for the first time, for the second time, but
It's fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
it's like super fresh and
Okay, well, imagine me scrolling through Twitter and seeing someone like post Loading Greatstorm singing Another One Bites the Dust. That's something that happened to me. So.
I just figured out because no one told me that there was a comic run that happens right after Lona gets zapped. What the heck, people?
Yeah. So anyone who's interested, please check it out. It's written by our good buddy DJO, Daniel Jose Older, and it's a Jedi detective who is trying to find out what happened with Loaded Bread Store. He's trying to uncover the secret behind that. And there's a nursery rhyme. Did you see the video that like me and Element and
So good.
I
and
did.
and
I didn't. I feel like an idiot.
That TikTok
Yes.
trend with you, Element, Star Wars Music Minute. I forget who it was. It was what? It was
after that was Camilla.
Yes,
Buttercup Wookie
on the piano.
And we had someone return to Star Wars after quitting it. Dad the Bounty Hunter returned to it. We had Joshua.
That's who was the vocal one.
Mace Awindu, and we had Bad Reactions joined in to put in a vocal track. Which, by the way, you hear that same vocal track in Tempest Runner if you're paying attention.
Oh, really? I'll have to listen.
Tempest Runner, there's like a scene where there's a random woman who's like sinking in the background of a prison sentence.
Yes, yes.
And you're like, I don't know what that means, whatever. And then like now you're like, oh, they planned all of this out. Damn, you know, like, yeah, it's great.
But I think this might be a good time because we are kind of like to kind of end the show, maybe.
Yeah, this was a nice. This
yeah.
is about as long as No Way Home. Jesus Christ!
No, it's longer.
I do want to talk.
We're running 20 minutes longer.
I do want to talk about Tempest Runner after we get off air, though. So, before we leave, just real quick for the chat, who are you? Where can we find you? And yeah, I guess that's about it. Let's go to Malik first.
Oh, me first? Oh, joy. Hey everyone. I've had a great time talking Spider-Man. I am the Jedi Smark on TikTok. Again, that's where you can find me, where I make a lot of good content for you. I'm currently on the road to 1,000, so we're getting there.
Go give Malik a follow.
We just hit 400, and well, I say we. Well, no, it's our channel. Communism, baby. It's our channel. Just hit 400. You know, like, just need a few hundred more, so we're getting there. Again, I have my podcast. It's a podcast.
And his laptop died, I think.
No, we lost. How are we going to live?
It's a podcast. It's a podcast. Make sure you guys go check it out. It is on Spotify.
Sorry
and
about
upload.
Oh, he's back.
I'm on my phone. But yeah, I'll wait for that. But yes, podcast, wherever you get your stuff, you can find me.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Malik. And Chaka, same thing to you.
We broke Chaco.
Sorry, that's so funny to me because I feel like I always have anyone who has any connection issues at all. At the very end, when I say, "Tell us where we can find your content," that's when they drop out, and you're like,
"No,
what am I supposed to do?"
No, my favorite Chaco is was it last episode we disconnected like 7 times? I swear to God, every single time I disconnected, you have this face when you see someone disconnected, you're like waiting to see if it's on you or if it's their end. And when it's on you, you just see the little green bar in the corner of OBS just flicker red, and you're just like, fuck.
It's the worst fear. If like, is this me? It's not me. Okay.
You're like, thank God.
That means there's nothing I could have done to prevent this. So I'm okay.
But Chaka, same thing to you.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that. But by the way, so the same way that I feel like the movie was cheating by playing so heavily on my nostalgia, you guys are heavily cheating by having 2 people that also have podcasts. So, but I approve. Anyways, I am Darth Chaco on TikTok, Darth Chaco on YouTube. Darth.Chaco on Instagram if you want to follow me there. I get more spicy on Twitter. It's DarthChaco7. Anyone who's made it to the end, this is where you get the full Monty. So that's why I share everything at the end. I like to dunk on people on Twitter because there's a lot of dumb people and it's funny.
Yeah.
That being said, I also do the High Ground podcast, which is Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time and Dyad in the Forest with my Dyad, Element 7. You should follow Element 7, amazing content creator. He's my favorite content. I am best friends with my own favorite content creator, which is
That's amazing.
Weird.
Wholesome.
but like, you know, it also makes me feel bad all the time because I'm not as good at like edits and stuff. I'm like, oh, this looks terrible. He wouldn't let this out, but whatever. Anyhow, yeah, so you can follow us over there. This Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, there will be a High Ground podcast. It's going to be amazing. We're going to be diving into the original trilogy.
Ooh.
And yeah, I already got Victoria Vader and Xanthi on the episode, so
Nice.
it's gonna be a good one. Anyhow,
That's a banger.
it's already gonna be a banger. The third, who invited like a month ago, bailed on me today, but
Are we still live?
We will,
Yeah.
we will have someone replace them, and it'll be someone amazing. Yeah. Anyhow, thank you for inviting me. I love Spider-Man. I love talking Spider-Man. Hopefully, we can get a lot more of these like non-Star Wars podcasts. I love Star Wars, but I love more stuff too.
Branching out. See, I'm
No,
trying to
yeah,
get a
that's
pro wrestling
good.
thing started one of these days, but you know, not enough people.
Yeah. I feel like me and Hereth could also run an NFL podcast.
Oh, easily.
That'd be dope.
Easily.
Easily.
We lost by one.
Oh, I watched that live. That was some pain. That was the
I heard-
pain.
I heard that
Man, I
Brady
love my
destroyed a
life.
tablet. What happened with that?
Godwin, Evans, and Fournette broke all injured. Literally, the day my uncle
Chocolate.
bought me a Chris Godwin signed helmet, he broke it. He tore it, or no, he sprained his MCL. I'm so mad.
If you don't put
Oh
that
my
towel away, I will come to the stream right now.
Oh my God. Incredible.
The rivalry.
Anyway,
Oh, Carter, you gotta go
thank
first.
you all for
Suki's
joining us.
There's
Suki, get him! Get him, Suki!
so.
Thank you all for
Wait.
joining us
Get
this
him.
week on They Swing Now.
But
Next week we're going to be talking about Ezra,
Mhm.
which like I've never been more hyped. Which we might need to have some scheduling issues. I'm in New York next Monday.
Can't wait for you guys to discuss how he's not home yet.
So
he's no way home. There's no way home.
That's the that's the real No Way Home episode with Ezra.
Oh,
What do you mean no way home? He could ride. I can't.
yeah.
Malik, I swear to God.
Also,
you think Dave's bringing that boy home? You're a fool. He's gonna kill him.
Malik is the real villain of the podcast. The Haunts of Podcast
Yup.
joke is back.
Yup.
But,
Oh, we sent Carter into the darkness.
so
Yeah,
You sent
no.
him into the Shadow Realm.
So
Yep.
before he returns from the Shadow Realm, there is one more thing I do want to. Okay, Carter's dead. Okay, but while Carter is dead on his bed, there's one thing I do want to shout out. Shout out to Bryn. I feel bad because he was supposed to be on this episode. Then he had a dental appointment come up with a root canal, so he couldn't come on. So he couldn't show up this episode. He was supposed to be on. I made this episode specifically for him because he's into Star Wars, but not really, and he's more of a Spider-Man guy. You should definitely go check out on Twitter or Instagram the Spider-Man 4 fan film. He's one of the chillest people in the Spider-Man community, and yeah, shout out to Bryn. But
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us this week on They Fly Now, and we'll see you guys next week.
see ya.
Awesome.
Peace
May
out.
the force be with you.
Peace out.
Always. Oh my god, I forgot to hit transit. Oh, wait. Oh god, I hit transit.